Hi, this is Marguerite with a vintage lace junk journal. I have a collection of bits and pieces of vintage lace that I wanted to put into a junk journal. And I decided to use the paper collection Mabel's Diary from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. It's a printable journal kit. The main colors of Mabel's Diary are, I have a few samples left that I did not use in my book. Black, red, cream, and white. And this was an absolute perfect pairing for me for wanting to use with vintage lace because it goes with white lace and it goes with black lace and it also goes with cream lace. So it worked out very, very well. For the covers, oops, get it back in the center. For the covers, I had a book cover from Tim Holtz. I don't know what it's called. It's just a book, just a journal cover that he sells. This one originally has 2 eyelets on the spine, and I did not want to use those eyelets, so I covered them up with some ribbon and trim, and instead sewed the signatures onto a piece of cardboard and then glued the cardboard into the spine on the inside. This was from the Mabel's Diary kit, as was this brown paper. You can't see it very well there here. I used more brown paper inside here. This brown paper is also part of the kit, so I put that over the book cover and then I covered it with tissue paper. And this tissue paper I just had in my drawer of pieces of tissue paper that I have, saved for when people send me things, so I honestly don't know who makes it, but I'm guessing it is also a Tim Holtz item. So yeah, I also put lace on the back side and on the front. So on the inside, as I mentioned, this is a book with lace, and that is what this front is for, this card. In it, I'm just explaining that this book holds a small collection of lace, and if I'm able to identify the piece, there's a brief description of the style written inside. So I wanted to, when I make junk journals, my goal is to use up as many pages as I can. I like to fill them up. I don't want blank journals. So I was very happy to use the journaling spaces to describe the kinds of lace that are in this book, just to have that information. This is my own piece of ephemera. I have a collection of vintage images, so this one's easily over 100 years old. So I wanted to kind of intermix my own vintage pieces that I have along with the lace and the pieces from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. And the 3 things just go along very, very well. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. So here's my first page. I glued everything in with this tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue. It worked great. Yeah, spot just it's in different spots. Some of it's a little bit loose, but that's fine. It holds down just fine. These pieces are from a freebie, so it's not part of the actual Mabel's Diary kit, but you can find them very easily, and they go along with the kit. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's the journal pages. So I use those to write descriptions of the lace that I have in the book. The red here I used with a spray, one of those Delusions inks. So I had book pages and I just sprayed them with the ink until I got the right color that I wanted. Here's another one of my vintage postcards that I had in my collection. So I put that in along with some trim there. Here's a little collage I did with an old book page and a piece of ribbon. This comes with the kit. And I have not yet identified this kind of lace, so I will, when I do that, I will put the description here. Here's another kind. This is on a piece of linen. I think it was probably an old handkerchief. So it was torn and kind of raggedy. So I mounted it onto a piece of heavy black cardstock. That way you can also see the cutwork lace on the inside, and just kind of use it as a tag, you know, to put it inside here this way. Here is a collage I made using lace, the filet lace, an old book page. This is just a piece of tissue paper, music. This comes from the kit, and then this is just a piece of metal that I got at a craft store. Here I had this small piece of tatting lace, and it didn't show up very well with this as a background, so I punched out 5 of these round circles. These came with the kit. They work perfectly with a 1-inch paper punch, so they come out very easily. And then I just kind of mounted it in, you know, like a flower. Here's another piece of bobbin lace. This comes with the kit. This rows underneath as with this, and then I glued on a piece of Cluny lace and wrote the description. So once I was able to identify the pieces, and I did this by talking to ladies who work at the Lace Museum close to where I live here in the Bay Area. So I found out this is Cluny lace, for example, and then I could just go on Wikipedia and find a brief description of what it is and where it was made and how long ago and that sort of thing. Most of these pieces, again, are torn or you know, just not in good shape, but if you iron them and glue them, you know, nobody really notices, so it looks just fine. Here's another vintage postcard that I had. This one had really nice writing on the back. This is from Germany in 1932, so I decided to keep it, and I attached it just with a piece of washi tape and put die cut underneath with more trim here and a small little embellishment up there. Here's another very neat piece of lace. I like this one a lot. This was the whole piece that I had. It was just this chunk, and I was really pleased that it fit so nicely right on this page, and it goes really well with this little piece from the kit. So this is Duchesse lace. This is a piece of postcard. These are just a couple of die cuts layered, some more trim. This is lace, as is this that wraps around the other side. And then I did a paper punch of some black lace just for more embellishment. This is Maltese lace, which has the Maltese cross on it. And here's my description of the Maltese lace. Hand-drawn or pulled thread. Here I did this embellishment just with paper, again with the punch, just to add on to the page a little bit. This is another type of Cluny lace. I still don't know what I want to write for a description on this one yet, so I'll come back to that. Here's just another kind of a netting. This one is not a part of the kit, but it is from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and I like it because it has a brown trim, or a frame, which goes perfectly with this brown. And then it also carries the other colors that I liked working with, which was the black and the red. So it goes along very nicely with the rest. I think the name of this collection is Isn't She Lovely? But I'm not 100% sure on that. Here's another piece from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. This was the freebie. And I really, as I said, I love those ovals. Those are just awesome. I've used them in so many projects, different kinds of projects. Here I just used, again, this kind of heavy paper, and the decoration is heavy, I should say. And then I used some red velvet ribbon along with the black lace. Some middle pages there. Here's another one of those tags, and I just added a little bit of lace trim there, as well as the border here. Here's another collage I made. This was supposed to be an envelope, but I did not want to glue in any envelopes in this book, so decided to use the red flat because I love the color, and then I also loved that damask kind of stencil on there. It's very pretty. So I added my own pieces of tissue paper, another little crocheted flower. This is a button, a metal button with the back cut off so that it would lie flat, and then a few small pieces here. Machine lace, very kind of simple, just again glued onto the page. And then one more collage made with some more buttons that have the backs sanded off so that they lie flat. And then I have this applique lace. I did a little bit of a paper punch here with a piece of text paper, and then another piece of lace up here, and then this comes with the kit. And that is that. Here you can see the spine. I glued in this spine onto the board on the back after I did a 5-point stitch in there. So I live in the South Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area, and I used to live in a town called Sunnyvale, and well, it's actually a big city. And there I lived a block away from a lace museum, and for many years I did not know it was a lace museum. I just saw the sign and walked right by it, not thinking anything about it. But when I went in one day, I discovered that it was truly indeed a lace museum. So every 6 months they have a sale of their vintage lace that they have collected from donations and also from their own museum collections. And the good thing about it is they have loads of stuff for people who like to do art projects. They have a lot of pieces of things. Some stuff that's in bad shape like this that has, water stains, things like that. But I find that if you iron things or cut things or layer things, then the bad spots don't show, and it makes really interesting things to put into your junk journals. Here's one of the most interesting things I got, which are these fragments of a silk court dress from 1760. I want to do something with these eventually, but I have not come up with any good ideas. But when I do, I expect that I am going to put them into a junk journal of some sort. And I'm looking forward to coming up with some ideas to do with that. So I volunteer now with the Lace Museum because it's an interesting place to be. And I am helping them put together pieces for their next vintage lace sale. And hopefully they will be doing some things where they sell some of their collections on Etsy. I'm trying to convince them that there is a wider market outside of just the South Bay, because I know that a lot of artists, like to use these types of things in their projects. So anyway, you'll probably be seeing a lot more lace from me, and hopefully a lot more junk journals like this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.